a little bit about what happened today. I figured do something different. I know I had brought the idea up to GLSR before doing the Clash race tonight that we're going to do, but I was like, after the announcement came out today about the penalty for um, Austin Dillon and Joey Logano, I figured I would go live on the stream here on my cell phone, by the way, show my ugly face, and share my thoughts on this. So here you go. First ever like live deal. I don't know what else to call it on what happened. So here's the thing. So today, NASCAR announced they have penalized Austin Dillon by taking his win away and not taking his win away, I'm sorry, taking away his playoff clinching berth and obviously counting his win for the race at Richmond Sunday night. So basically, he does not clinch a spot in the playoffs. He loses points, but keeps his win. And that's the part that I think gets me when this is all over with, is the fact that he gets to keep his win. And where I'm going with this is I'm left with questions, and I'm left with some interesting thoughts on this. And let's start here. The questions. What is the difference in penalizing somebody at the track for rough driving and penalizing somebody for rough driving winning the race? I know it's like a trick question per se, but let's think about this for a second. In 2004 at Daytona, Jason Leffler spun out Michael Waltrip on the back straightaway, put Junior in the wall, and crossed the line second in that night race to Mike Wallace. Jason Leffler was given a penalty time-wise and finished 13th in the race. Rest in peace, by the way, to a good driver in Jason Leffler. He also was penalized in 2009 at a race. I believe it was Lucas Oil Raceway. I could be wrong by that. 5 laps. Just a couple weeks ago, we saw Lane Riggs get penalized for rough driving. I'm probably going to get the year wrong here, but I also remember back in, I want to say it was 2015, a now ARCA Series, but K&N Series race at New Smyrna. There was a driver, I'm not going to mention names because I could be wrong here. There was one driver who I remember got penalized on the final lap for wrecking the leader. He actually won the race. The guy that wrecked, driver A got wrecked by driver B. Driver B won the race. They took the win from driver B, handed it back to driver A, and went on from there. So that leads me to where I think I'm getting the understanding here. And where I'm getting the understanding here is, to me, it sounds like NASCAR dropped the ball by not penalizing Austin at the track. Because looking at just what I've seen so far in the articles from NASCAR.com, and thanks to Devin Ramsey for posting in the Discord page, I was able to read the quote from Elton Sawyer. It sounds to me, NASCAR says in the rule book they can't take a win away. Okay. I don't know if you technically can't take a win away. It sounds like something maybe where they're trying to protect themselves from some kind of, I don't know, lawsuit or something maybe. I could be wrong by that. But to me, it sounds like they can't take the win away on Wednesday, but what they could have done is gone back to these other events I'm speaking of, and these are just 3 events. I mean, there's plenty of others. I mean, Harvick getting parked at Martinsville, Kyle Busch's deal at Texas. That's just to name a few. They could have easily, before they put the official results out on Sunday, said, hey, because of rough driving, Austin Dillon's penalized so and so, it doesn't win the race. By not doing that, it puts them in the box today. Now they're trying to scramble to come up with some kind of rule that takes the win away. So I get confused by that, by stating that today we watched a guy get away with recklessly driving and taking out 2 drivers and winning this race. Yes, he loses the bells and whistles, per se, we'll call it, the playoff berth and so on and so forth, but he still has the trophy. And that's where I get really bothered by this. You go and rob a bank, hypothetically. You steal $5,000. Okay? You get arrested for robbing a bank, for robbery, right? But yet you're allowed to keep the $5,000 when you get out of jail. Does that make sense? So where in this, when you got a spot where Logano on the restart takes the win, or I'm sorry, takes the lead cleanly, by the way, on this restart, takes the lead clearly, goes down in turn 3, Austin Dillon's not even going to make the corner, and completely wipes him out. And then turns down. Some people say Denny slid up the track, but it's kind of hard to keep the car on the left yellow line there. And no matter what, Austin was taking out Denny. Wipes him out. Not to mention spotters telling him to wreck him. Yada, 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 yada. So let's think about this now. So when we look in the record books 20 years from now, who wins this Richmond race? Austin Dillon. 20 years from now, Austin Dillon's going to be sitting there with his son and other potential children if he's blessed there. And there's going to be a trophy on his mantle that says Cookout 400 winner. He still got the trophy. The 3 car is not going anywhere in the playoffs if it were to make it. Not to mention, the 3 car is not going to get any better throughout the season. Let's be honest. It's been one of the worst cars all season long. RCR has been one of the worst running Chevrolet teams in all the season. So, in the end, yeah, RCR is trying to appeal this now. But the trophy is still there. The banner is still going to go up on RCR's wall or whatever tradition they do. It's there. It's their win. They still won the race. So where's the penalty here? They lost out. Yeah, they lose the bells and whistles around it. But they still won the race. Where does this make sense? Because NASCAR says they can't take the win away. The problem is you have the same reckless driving that happened in the examples I shared earlier with Loeffler twice, with the driver in the K&N race, whose name, again, I want to say it's one of the Bassett brothers, but I could be off, and I don't want to go that route. Lane Riggs a couple weeks ago. But the difference here is all those races, the guy who, in this race, the guy who caused the wreck won the race. But instead, NASCAR chooses not to do a rough driving penalty that has been enforced how many times during a race, where you see somebody get parked for 2 laps for rough driving, or parked into the garage for rough driving, or even parked the next day for rough driving, or in Loeffler's case in Daytona 04, a time penalty. So why can't we penalize Austin Dillon 2 laps post-race for rough driving? Sounds common sense to me, doesn't it? So the problem here, though, is because it's Wednesday now, we can't go to the past. Basically, NASCAR can't change the ruling because the ruling's official now, but they can do everything but take the trophy away. So now they've got to react to an issue instead of being proactive, which is what they should have done back years ago when they introduced us and said, hey, we could take a win away from something else. Now, I'm going to throw a wild prediction out as I get off here because I got to get ready for the GLSR race in a little bit. Wild prediction here. And tell me I'm wrong. And trust me, I appreciate the comments. Hello to you guys watching. Later on this season, a non-playoff driver is going to do the same thing to a playoff driver. I'm calling it now. It's going to happen somewhere where a non-playoff driver is going to take out a playoff driver for the win during the playoffs. Let's see what happens in the results. I can almost tell you the guy will not win the race. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyways, appreciate it. Those are my thoughts. I'm sure I missed a bunch of things. I'll talk more tonight during the stream and throughout the week. But it is what it is, unfortunately. So, can't hear the feedback of you guys. Can't wait to see the feedback of what the pros are saying. But to me, people are saying they got the right call today by taking the playoff berth and stuff away. No. Unfortunately, they didn't do enough. They should have taken the win away, but because they can't, quote, because they dropped the ball on Sunday, basically you got somebody here that, again, robbed a bank, but was able to keep the money. Just saying. Thanks, guys.